Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna to all the dear friends. Welcome again in another English practice video. Today I want to discuss about this fever that we get usually many times in an year, and a fever is of course not a very pleasant experience that anybody experiences. So when I was a child, I used to think that fever is a disease itself, but later on, I came to know that when there is an infection in the body, then the body raises the temperature so that the infection or whatever the antigens are, the like viruses or bacteria that is causing the infection in the body, so the body's temperature is raised so that those antigens cannot survive in the body. And I think it has something to do with the WBC also, white blood cells. So fever is actually a fighting mechanism of the body with the infection causing germs or antigens or microbes, whatever. So the more the infection in the body, and the high the fever would be. But then why, if it is like that, the fever is actually fighting with the infection, then why do we take these paracetamol tablets to bring down the fever? I do not really know it much in detail, but probably I think a high fever state is not very good for, I think, other parts of the body. So that is why if one is suffering from high fever, so they are given these paracetamol tablets to bring down the fever, which are, I think, antipyretic, or there is something written on the back side of the tablet. And also, if a fever is very high, these wet cloth bands are kept on forehead and palms or foot sole, so as to bring down the temperature of the body, so in case the fever is very high. But I have also heard that if fever is like up to 100-degree Fahrenheit, or even 101-degree Fahrenheit, I have heard it from some authentic sources that it is not recommended that one should have these tablets and or medicines to bring down the fever, because up till 100-degree or 101-degree, there is no need for the tablet to be taken. But still we do that, and if children have fever, we elders really get panicked and immediately give them these tablets. And in India, there is also this trend of giving antibiotics if there is even slightest of the fever, which is, I think, not a recommended thing. In Western countries, mostly in the developed ones, I think, I have heard from my many of my friends that they do not recommend these antibiotics unnecessarily. Antibiotics actually uh, reduce the immunity of the body, and when someone, an adult or a child, becomes really habitual of consuming these antibiotics, the bacteria or other germs, they become like more resistant to the antibiotic. And if next time the person is suffering from some such illness, so they would need a bigger dose of antibiotic to heal. So, and antibiotics of course cause quite many side effects and harms to the body, because they kill the bacteria, and in that process the gut bacteria is also killed. The gut bacteria is the helpful bacteria which helps in the digestion of the body, digestion of the food in the intestines. And that is why you might have experienced or seen that when we consume antibiotic, the digestive system is also affected, because those bacteria which are helpful in the digestion of the food, they also are killed. So now this whole medicine thing is a very debatable topic in India, because India is a huge population and is a very big market for pharmaceutical companies. And that is why a lot many medicines which are actually not needed are also recommended by these doctors, or not all doctors, I would say, but of course this whole system of pharmaceutical companies and whole this medical system, whatever to say, which are responsible for selling medicines to such a big population of 1.4 billion, which is a very huge market. And a lot of medicines I have heard that are prohibited in other countries in west or other countries, they are actually quite permissible in India. So this makes me, or this makes me to come to this point, that how it can be possible when if some the same medicine is like prohibited and banned in some countries, and it is considered injurious and very harmful, and the same medicine is allowed in India. How it can be possible? So definitely we need to be really very aware as responsible citizens, and having responsibility of the health of our own health and family. We need to think by our own mind and not just get carried away by anyone who is recommending us. Always, before taking any medicine, you must make sure that if it is actually needed or not. Now how would you make sure? Because the doctor has recommended and you think that he did it right, but unfortunately this is not the case. Many times it happens that you are recommended medicines which are definitely not needed and are absolutely unnecessary, and more than uh, giving benefit to your health, they are causing harm, and also leaving some long term side effects and long term after effects, which are not good for your body in long run. So I think the answer to this dilemma is that we must be educated and we must have our own research about consumption of these medicines. And okay, we are not going to be doctors, not every one of us is going to research on medicine, because we of course have other engagements, and we not all of us are in the field of medicine. But I think our health is our own responsibility, and I would rather recommend the practice of Ayurveda, which has been the ancient health care system in India. And the benefit of Ayurveda was that it was designed in such a way that it used to solve or eradicate the root cause of disease in our body, and not just cure the symptom. So in that way, it was taken into account that the body during treatment does not suffer side effects or after effects. So I would say that each one of us must have at least some knowledge of Ayurveda, because these day to day illness or these seasonal illness are of course a norm, and we have to face them every year and every season. If we are not ill, then someone in our family is suffering from these diseases, and someone suffering in the family is also a very stressful situation. So I think we need to equip ourselves with the right knowledge and the right guidance. So for doing that, we must have our own research also. Nowadays internet is there, but of course in internet also you need to be very careful about what content you are consuming. So you need to figure out like what are the authentic resources or sources of information, and of course you can refer to standard Ayurveda books also. So I really believe in Ayurveda because this is a holistic system of medicine and health, and it not only involves one aspect of health, but it involves the whole thing, the body, mind and soul. Because any illness has to be, if any illness has to be cured, all these three aspects, body, mind and soul, have to be addressed, and that is how the health can be ensured. So I hope you got the idea of what I was trying to say. Maybe I was not very clear because I did not decide, but yes, I think you will have some idea about what I was trying to say. So please take care, stay healthy, and I would end here. Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna.